My Champions League luck is atrocious. We finished the Champions League group stage in style and rewarded with Real Madrid in the first knockout round, over in February. But today, of course, we're still in, well, we're just either side of Christmas. And we're spending the week in London. Yeah, as mentioned, we ended our group stage in absolute style, 7-0 with what was an entirely rotated squad. I literally just clicked full rotated quick pick and left it at that, pretty much. I think I just changed a couple of subs and that was it. The first 11 was entirely my first 11. Oh, of course, swapping Pulisic and Madeira to the inside forward roles they're actually meant to be for, but that was the only change I made from the full rotation option. It did mean players like Kovalev and Barwick started that match, and both of them got on the score sheet. Then again, who didn't? Reminiscent of my second string 9-0 victory over Besiktas with Southampton. But that was away from home. This not quite as impressive, but it has been all wins since we last saw you. And they've all been pretty entertaining, actually, it's got to be said. 4-2 against Sheffield United. Yes, we went down in that one. Twice. Not quite their only 2 shots on target. We did miss a penalty as well, so it should have been 5. And then, honestly, I know last time I toyed with bringing you the Man United and Tottenham games, but then decided not to just because it's too much Tottenham, really. I regret that decision massively. 5-3. We essentially Tottenhamed them. Last time out, I obviously drew attention to the fact Tottenham and Man United played each other and played out a 5-2 victory for Tottenham. A weirdly similar situation happened here where they went 2-0 up, and then we took it all the way to 4-2 before they got one back and we made it 5. The only difference is they got another one back. That's literally the only difference in the way those 2 games played out for Man United. 2-0 away from home, beaten by a 5-goal conceding. Bafflingly close, and we continue to beat Tottenham in games that I really don't care about. Of course, we've got one today where actually I do care about, so we'll see how that one goes. 2-0, we're in the semi-finals of that again. Liverpool the opponents this time. And we've got to play them in alternating matches. Liverpool, Southampton, Liverpool, Tottenham, Liverpool. Why? Why does that always happen? People that play today, Man City have beaten Liverpool already. Southampton 4-0 victors over Leeds, although they're not doing particularly well at this stage this year. Oh, hang on. I just missed the fact that Norwich beat Tottenham. Norwich and West Brom, weirdly, knocking on that Europa League door at this stage. But Tottenham have lost. Our goal difference is worse, though, so it's unlikely we will usurp them today. But of course, we play them in the next match. Only one piece of team news for either side, and that's the fact that Bradley Saxton is not available still, and neither is James Grimes. Took a knock in that Carabao Cup victory. So the way we line up today is Baxter in goal with Castillo, Azata and Rick in the back line with Shao Nan on his right-hand side. Vidarson and Seri continue in that midfield. Vidarson a surprise Player of the Year nominee. Wasn't expecting it. Carpentier, Vidal and Cantoro. Carpentier's back in a little bit of form on that side, whilst Ramirez is not, so he's not even on the bench. Madeira is, because he's in a bit of form, but he's theoretically worse than Carpentier, who hasn't actually progressed beyond the 2-star role ability yet. He will obviously get a little bit more once he becomes fully natural, whenever that may be. Godoy starts up front, of course. 10 goals to his name already. It's not even Christmas. I'll take it. Has to be said, the goals are being spread out quite nicely amongst the squad this year. 6 for Carpentier over there, 3 for Vidal, 8 for Cantoro, and the midfield chipping in quite nicely as well. So he's going particularly well on that front. Even Barwick's got 2 in limited appearances. Of course, our lads have played midweek. The vast majority of... Hang on a second. Nathan Watson is playing in central midfield. What is happening at Chelsea? I mean, he can do it. How did I never notice he had 19 passing? Why is he not a better complete forward? Teamwork, those stats there. I guess he's not particularly tall. I've just seen his England goal scoring record. That's brilliant. Also, big game player. He's basically the best player in the game. And for some reason, they've stuffed him there. They didn't have any injury news, so that's really confusing. I mean, Damiani's great, don't get me wrong. Parkinson's barely playing as well, although he doesn't really actually have any development room now, look at it. The issue I have with the English players in particular is it always gives me the England scout report even when I'm on York, which never ever really has the potential ability that they have. Don't know why that's a thing, it just doesn't really appear the potential ability. So he does have some, you just can't see it. Again, relishes the big matches. His defender I'd probably quite like to get in. Did try to, unsettle him here, and his morale is quite low, so January could be a thing. Not far off, although we do have the first of last year's youth poaching coming in January, though he is a foreign player, so we won't be able to register him regardless. I've just done a bit of a check-in on all those youth prospects we nabbed last spring. And yeah, the one coming in January, he's alright, he's 2 stars, he does have 18 tackling though, so if he does have 5-star potential, I don't know where those stats are going to go, because tackling basically solved already. Tackling and marking, I think, are 16 and 18 So he's already a brilliant normal defender. I just need to develop the ball playing side of things. This game has no highlights. Here's one, and it's worrying me already just because of these players on this side over here. Nathan Watson, though, is charging down this left-hand side. He's bypassed number 21, whoever that is. I don't know who number 21 is. Vidarson. I really should know my numbers a little bit more off by heart. Obviously, Shao, I know straight away. And Silva's number 9. Carpentier, though, in a lovely amount of space on this side, dashes past number 3, finds Vidal. That should have been a goal. The movement on that was far too good for that not to be a goal, although the highlight has not ended. We've had far more the better of the stats on here, I've noticed, so they're about to score probably. Oof, lethal. Good save by Baxter, though, just for their third shot on target in 45 minutes. We are doing all right. Could do with winning, though, and the resulting corner is straight at Baxter for another shot on target. Kind of makes their stats look a little bit better than they were literally 30 seconds prior. I just noticed on the half-time thing, their goalkeeper has held 5 saves, so we probably need to be doing a little bit better in terms of placing shots if we're putting them close enough for the goalkeeper to actually hold them, and, well, that's far enough from the goalkeeper. Ivan Seri with a free kick, Mr. Speciality. I'm not sure if that's the first one this year. It might be the second. I don't know what their goalkeeper's done there. He's just gone for a wander in the other direction first. Did you see that? I hope you saw that. He's just sort of drifted to the left, his left, and then Seri exploited the gap he left. Lovely work. Helio, of course, it's the first time you've seen him in their colours. Vinicius Jr. is coming through, pings it off the... Oh, God. I hate it when that happens. That's probably one of my most despised things in FM. It's just how the ball just always goes back to the player. Always. Like, sod physics. This ball... that ball would... I think it actually hits Shao twice. I think Vinicius Jr. actually has a heavy touch and it comes back off Shao a second time for him to lash it in. 1-1. Long throw, though. Shao is on the wrong side of the pitch. Don't know how this has happened. I think it's because Castillo actually isn't on left-hand-sided throw-in duties for whatever reason. I must get that fixed. Although Saxton might be back next match anyway. He's just boo-hoofed it. See, this is what I hate, is when they get the benefit of the second ball twice in the same highlight, and then Castillo hoofs it at their defenders, and somehow they get the possession. Baxter, anyway, gone all the way back to our goalkeeper. He's played it off to Vidarson, who navigates into their number 11 nice enough. And Castillo back on the ball once more. There's no one really for him to hit this against this time, so Cantoro misses. I mean, I'd argue there's no one necessarily playing terribly right now. I'm just going to move Carpentier up a little bit on that left-hand side. Does have, obviously, a strong left-back behind him to do with that. And if he doesn't get anything out of it, then we'll sort of think about it. Because my issue here is that Cantoro... Oh, I did actually put Polish on the bench. What am I doing? All right, I'm taking them both off now and then swing that back to Madeira. I'm making a change in injury time. I don't know why I'm bothering with this. It's not really anything that's beneficial. Laidlaw on for Vidal, maybe. We did absolutely nothing in that second half except score. That was the shot on target that we had. Well, I certainly say I'm not pleased. Stuttgart, I got someone in for Golden Boy. Keep an eye on that one. He's got a ridiculous name which would be impossible to pronounce. Madeira is one of the most baffling players I've ever owned. He just come to me about playing time and I've just told him Carpentier's in the form of his life and he's gone, fair enough. Good to know you've actually got your reasons. Yeah, you think I just don't play you for no reason? I think I just throw names at a dartboard and hope that the players actually work. Although in fairness, for that left-hand side, that has kind of been the idea for the past few years. Sorry, hang on, it's happened again. Shaonan's on international duty. Oh, for the love of God! Feel like I need a better right back. Backup. Simpara is okay, but I feel like I need an actual one that's challenging him, like Castillo and Saxton on that left-hand side. There's not a lot between them. What a brilliant time for Shao to go on holiday. Sorry, did I just see... I don't know why this is red, it's just something with the skin, but Chelsea, Bayern and Milan might be triggering Velasquez's £44 million release clause at Schalke. I mean, he's worse than Teko, who isn't a natural midfielder. Central. So Man United did capitalise on our draw there, but beat Tottenham, we do go ahead. If we beat Tottenham, we do go ahead of them. I don't know who they play on that week either. Press conference said Tottenham are overperforming. Yeah, I suppose. More of an argument to be made for Chelsea and Liverpool underperforming, though, I guess. Right, I don't know which point that my recording just stopped. I know it was after the last game, so at the very least you've got the full games. You may have missed something midweek, although there wasn't really anything massively important other than the fact, of course, that Xiaonan is away on international duty with China. Also, I can't play Laidlaw, of course. Well, those are both pretty easy switches, if I'm honest. Simparo obviously comes in a right back, 2-star, but yeah, I can sort of see why. He's got some good things about him, don't get me wrong. But Baxter's in goal. Castillo, actually, is Saxton back. 75 minutes of action he's available for. Castillo will start with Azart and Rick. Simpara, Baxter behind. Same front bit as before. So Simpara's the only real change. Team's fit enough to go again. Got to play West Ham in actually 2 days. But that's at home and that's also... they're in 10th. They're playing 4-4-2 these days. I'm not sure why. I don't know what's happened to Sem Budak. I don't know why they've suddenly stopped playing him. He scored 23 goals in 36 last year, and this year he started 4 games, 5 off the bench. I can't explain it, because no one in that first 11 is new, particularly midfield-wise, which would affect it. I mean, it's working. They're top of the table. I don't know when they changed their manager, because Aliou Dembele's in there, but we highlighted him at the end of last year. I'm fairly certain he was in charge then, rather than the very, very end of the year. Anyway, Godoy's on this ball. If that ends up with Vidal, that's bloody lovely. It didn't, but Carpentier, back to Rizarto, and Castillo will get this ball on this left-hand side. He's got to deal with 2 players if he wants to get anything out of this. He's dealt with 1. Godoy, over. We are actually playing at the same time as a lot of other games, which is kind of odd for a big game like third at the start of the day. Bit odd for that to be going on alongside every other game. But Rick, that somehow ended up, sorry, that one caught me off guard. It somehow ended up with Victor Vidal. I was about to say it's going wide, but Vidal was there just to tap it in. And Rick gets an assist as a result, but whipped in there. Rick at the back post, he was going well wide. I don't know if he was meant to be crossing it across the box. I don't know if he did that intentionally, but Vidal puts it away. That didn't actually count as a shot, apparently, because we're 1-0 up with no shots on target. Classic. Carpentier's run all the way across. It's still going. Is anyone going to stop? He literally basically got fouled. I think he got fouled by Cantoro. That's the player who stopped Carpentier in his track, was our own. He's made over for it by scoring. And it's 2-0 all of a sudden. Now, admittedly, of course, this happened to Manchester United. They went 2-0 up within about 20 minutes or so, and then they were blown back by 5 goals following that. Cantoro there. Why? I mean, Anana came a little bit probably too near this side of the goal. Just allowed that to happen, and possibly a little bit too easily. And of course, every goal we score against them also hurts their goal difference as much as it benefits ours. That's vicious. It is curious that their striker takes their corners, though, in a very Harry Kane-esque for England way. Cantoro, though, taking ours, and straight to them. What was that, Thomas? Hang on, what happened? How did he do that? That was so easy for them. It's Rizarto on this left-hand side, isn't it? Oh no, is it both centre-back? Both full-backs? Yes, Castillo just switches off. Castillo switches off, and Rosie beats the offside trap. We're going to see it with the lines here, just to see how close that actually was when it was played. Yep, Castillo just backs off instead of actually going with Simpara and making him offside. I mean, that's Castillo's fault entirely. It was Rosie who got the first one against Man United as well, but that started their comeback. I do seem to remember. So, worried boots on. Vidalson though, Carpentier on this side. Hours to Castillo, who doesn't cross it, gives it for Vidalson. Well, that's whipped. Oh, that's hit the post somehow. Nearly an accidental goal. That one would definitely have been a cross rather than a shot. That's for sure. Hoofed up, but the game's surely at a half-time now. Yes, it is. It's one of those times where I get nearly tempted by don't lose focus, but I just know how that just doesn't do it. Okay, playing out from the back. Castillo now. His turn to charge. Is he going to get tackled? Yes, he is. And they actually get the possession out of that tackle, so wonders never cease. Simpar will get in between that attempt to cut us open, and our turn to attack now. Utterly useless switch of play there from Castillo. And if he's at fault for 2 goals, I'm going to be very mad. He's missed, thankfully. The injured Kimaju. At this point in time, he may have assisted a goal, but I'm feeling he's on a 7.0 somehow, Castillo, despite I feel like he's a liability at this point. I don't know why. Godoy's on a 6.4 as well. Silva's ready to come back in the team. Still playing positive. Last 20, we might just go a little bit less. Vidalson, though, on this one. If we make it 3, that would be very, very lovely indeed. Saxton to Vidalson. Cantora's there. That's, well, somehow a corner. So much happened in the space of 3 seconds there. I just couldn't find the words to explain it. And now they've got a chance to run again. Why is number 9 in so much space? Why has Rosie got all this time and space? I know we only leave our fullbacks back for corners. Why was nobody in the vicinity of him? What are you doing, Saxton? Why are you not nearer this person? I'm firing all my left backs, I think. They're all going to be left back in the changing room at this rate. I'm sure that comment got a mirthy giggle from anyone who played youth football. Remember when you're sort of 10, 11 and that joke feels like the height of comedy? He wasn't the last man, it's not a yellow card. For the love of God. Well, the good news is I've not made my 3rd change yet, and who is worth the hook here perhaps? You know what we're going to do? We're going to take Vidal off, move Cantora centrally, and then just play 2 up top. Now it's just about a case of holding on, really. 2-2. Well, I've told them I'm far from pleased from what I was seeing with this team, but I'm just really far from pleased with what I've seen from my left backs. Well, Kovalev starting the next one. Do that now so I don't forget. Yeah, so we've got to go through West Ham, Grimsby and Leeds at the very least. I don't think I'm going to bring you anything. I'm going to bring you the league games towards the end of January. Liverpool and Tottenham there. Just realised it's Tottenham back-to-back regardless what happened prior. So, but realistically, they're the most important games that are next up. We really don't care about the Carabao Cup at this point, despite the fact we're in the semi-finals again. So yeah, Liverpool next time, middle of January. There might be some transfer business, of course, by then. So I'll see you for that. Until then, ta-ra!